One of the engineering quotes says, science can amuse and fascinate us all, but it is engineering that changes the world. End of quote. The engineer has been and is a maker of history. My guest on the spot this week is a history maker, and I'm sure you want to find out what gives him that impetus to go that long way in the drive to make a change in the society. Stay with me, because for the next half hour, we'll have a feel of his works and who he is. My name is Blessing Abu. Welcome to the program. My guest is an electrical engineer by training and has over 35 years of experience in electrical power engineering, project management, administration, and leadership. He started his working career with the Lagos Thermal Station, EGMI, under the National Electric Power Authority from 1986 to 1988. He then got appointed by the Kano State Rural Electricity Board in 1988 as a senior engineer and rose to the position of assistant director, where he resigned in 1998, of course, to seek other grounds with colleagues engineers. Well, he established MBS Engineering Limited, an engineering firm to cater for issues involving the power system design, building services, and renewable energy technologies. Now you see why I said he's walking the talk of himself being an engineer. Okay, we will move further to attend to some other issues that concerns the society at large as well. He is a former president of the Federation of African Engineering Organization, FAEO, as well as that of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NCE. My guest was recently appointed as an independent expert and head of project management office for the Presidential Power Initiative. On the spot this week, I'd like to welcome the Executive Vice President of the World Federation of Engineering Organization, Mustafa Balarabe, Shehu. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Blessing.
Engineering is so fascinating. I could see the hand and the movement in almost every aspect of engineering.
Certainly.
But power generation, power systems, renewable energy, sometimes they all sound so foreign, but at the same time so local for us. Give us a sense of what engineering should do for us and that we're not tapping into effectively.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this evening. Mm-hmm. And if you talk of engineering, it's actually, you are talking broadly, and it encompasses almost every aspect of your life. And since you have started talking about electricity or power engineering, of course, every Nigerian will have interest, to hear anything talking about power engineering because of the persistent power challenges we have been having in the country. And I think this is a concern to every Nigerian and to every engineer, whether you are working in the power sector or not. As an engineer, you feel it's part of your obligation to make sure that electricity, just as seen in other countries, is also seen in this part of the globe. Mm-hmm. So we as engineers, and especially those of us who have been opportune in one way or the other, or at one time or the other, to have worked in the energy sector, we feel highly concerned that this challenge is yet to be surmounted in Nigeria. But certainly the effort has to be continuous so that we surmount this challenge.
I like the fact that you took yourself from where I asked the question to come into the concerns of engineers, just as it's concerning for us who are non-engineers as well. We can hold this discussion under influence of powered technologies, from the lighting to other means to cables, and it is possible because somebody's there to do what is possible and what is needed to be done. But like you said, over the years, we've had that experience of not getting the adequate power supply, whether it is generation, whether it is distribution, whether it is a transmission, together to actually service the people of Nigeria and even perhaps for those who are given such opportunities to tap into our resource. What exactly is wrong with power in Nigeria?
Well, I think from my observation, over the years, there has been a lot of policies and sometimes policy overlaps, sometimes some policy inconsistencies, sometimes inadequate coordination, you understand, between the sector players, and also for somebody to look at the value chain, from generation, transmission to distribution. Now, as we are talking today, there is some level of, generation capacity, but unfortunately, what the country is able to generate cannot be, transmitted adequately, and even what can be transmitted cannot be distributed adequately. So there are huge gaps or huge deficits in the distribution infrastructure. There is also another deficit in the transmission infrastructure, which is not as much as what is at the distribution infrastructure. And of course, there is also another deficit even in the generation infrastructure, because even though we cannot transmit and distribute what we have now, but if the system were adequate at both the transmission and distribution side.
So what are those things causing these inadequacies? You've used the word deliberately.
What I'm saying is that if you go to the distribution sector, there are so many distribution lines that are inadequate in terms of the conductor side in the transformers. So many transformers are overloaded, but they have not been upgraded. So many transformers also need relief transformers, but they have not. Such relief transformers have not been, provided. There is ever increase in the population in the country. Every city you go, you will see large areas being developed. New areas, new estates. New communities being developed, but there is no commensurate, improvement in the distribution infrastructure. You understand? So the increase in population has to be also, matched with the
power infrastructure is still a challenge generally in all the the value chain.
Exactly, generally, because even at the generation end, if today we have every distribution infrastructure to take what we can generate, is still inadequate. You will see that the suppressed loads that are hitherto not on the grid will be on the grid, and you see that you still need more generation capacity to cope with the population we have in Nigeria.
Well, it could be likened to a sudden situation, because if we have your humble self alongside all the experts of engineers that we have, engineering profession in Nigeria now is as old as what if I'm able to put a number to how long we have had the Society of Engineers, the other group of professionals in this sector, then definitely we shouldn't still be where we are today. So let's roll over to where you are as Executive Vice President of World Federation of Engineering Organization, and give us an insight on how this was contested, how you had the contest done, and what exactly is this body set to do?
Well, first of all, the World Federation of Engineering Organizations is the global body for the engineering profession globally, and it has representation from more than 100 countries. And each country is being represented by one engineering institution. And we also have international members, that is engineering institution representing continents, like the Federation of African Engineering Organizations, which I was privileged to have been part of at the leadership position as president. And also we have the Federation of Engineering Institution for the Asia and Pacific sphere. We have similar one for the European nations, and similar one UPADI for the Americas, and we also have Federation of Arab Engineers, as well as Commonwealth Engineering Council. So these are the international members, while you have the national members that are more than 100 in number. So the WFEO, in a nutshell, is representing over 30 million engineers globally.
That is all engineering, all fields of engineering.
All fields of engineering.
So it doesn't have to be just electrical.
No. Okay. All fields and all fields of engineering, and in every country.
Okay, and so from Nigeria alone, how many are you at this particular?
Well, Nigeria, can only have Nigerian Society of Engineers as member.
Okay, so it's institutional membership.
And that is why it is called Federation.
Okay.
World Federation of Engineering Organizations.
Okay.
So engineering organizations come up to make a federation.
Okay.
And in my capacity as NSC, in fact, for more than 40 years, NSC as an institution has been a member
of that federation.
A national member of that federation.
Okay.
So, but when I became president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, we have been participating in the activities of the federation for many years.
Okay. So, what goes on there? I'm deliberately asking this question because I know when you go for such international forum presentations, I'm sure they'll want to see what you're doing back home.
Yeah,
that qualifies you to hold your degrees, your professional certification, and all of those ones. When it comes to issue we've just talked about, from power to building collapse to some other forms of threats to the profession here in Nigeria. What are those things that have come on as front burner issues and that you want to, this is what we've been able to present before the world? But I'm going to be asking you to do more of those deliberations with me after the break because I'm going on a break now.
No problem.
Okay, you're watching On The Spot, and I'll be right back with engineer Mustafa Balarabe Shehu in a moment. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. If you just tuned in, the program is On The Spot, and I have an engineer on the spot. Before the break, I was showing the question about what kind of engagements engineers from Nigeria, as NSE now, at the World Federation, to actually tackle issues back home. I'm sure colleagues, engineers from other parts of the world want to know what is going on, that your power sector is still not up to what it should be. We're still hovering around some kilowatts of or particular message on this is what we're able to generate, or this is where it's not adding up. We have issue of collapsed building. We have other things that are rubbishing what qualification and also different certification that most of you have gotten, and you're not happy about it. So how do you bring us before the world in terms of representation?
Well, first of all, you see, as a national member of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations, we always make sure that when we go to such conferences, our voice are heard. I mean, we just don't want to participate in the activities of an institution whereby we just are onlookers. You understand? That is why anytime we have these conferences, our members do present papers. You understand? And when they present papers on issues affecting our countries and the challenges we are facing, so that we share it with the global engineering community. So that we exchange ideas, we exchange thoughts. You understand? And we come up with a proposal. Of course, we do bring, proposals to the country at various levels and on various sectors actually of engineering. But of course, it's one thing for you to bring an idea or to bring a proposal or an advice. Is another thing entirely for the advice to be taken or to be utilized. But certainly, what I'm trying to say here is that our members, the Nigerian engineers, are competing favorably at the international arena. And that is even why when I finished my tenure as the president of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations, my colleagues from other countries in Africa, identified some of the qualities associated with me and said, look, Engineer Shehu, we have to push you so that we go into the leadership of this global engineering body, because we never had a president from the sub-Saharan Africa who has led the global engineering body, since its establishment in 1968.
Wow. Okay, so we are pushing now that 53, 54 years on, you're looking out for the World Federation of Engineering as an organization to be the president.
Sure.
So what are you doing about that? Beyond your colleagues speaking to you, you must do so. And what is this bringing back to us as a nation?
Well, first of all, when the Federation of African Engineering Organizations took that decision at their General Assembly, that decision was conveyed to the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and it was conveyed to the African Union Commission, because the Federation of African Engineering Organization has an MOU on technical activities with the African Union Commission. Okay. And of course, during my tenure as president of FAO, I had very close collaboration with the African Union Commission. So when they had that, the FAO has endorsed my candidature so they also, endorsed my candidature. And of course, after those endorsements from the Federation of African Engineering Organization and African Union Commission, NSC then was excited. Then they wrote to nominate me to contest for that position. And it's one thing to get nominated, it's another thing also for you to reach out to other countries across the globe. So it's not enough for you to say because African engineering institutions are desirous to have you as president of WFO, so you have it. This is a position that is being, seen as a coveted position, and many people from all over the world are looking for such position. So we have to reach out to other blocks, like the Asian bloc, like the European blocks, like the Pan-American, North and South America.
So are you getting their buy-in?
Oh yes, I have reached out to many countries and I've got over 12 support letters across the globe. So we are really confident that we are going to make
come
it.
To
exactly.
To
and
the region.
Surely, and the General Assembly is just close by.
Okay.
We are going to have it in the next couple of days in San Jose, Costa Rica.
Okay.
So it will take place precisely on the 9th of March.
Okay.
So at the end of that General Assembly, we are going to call you, the NTA, so that
to come and see to it that it happens.
Exactly. So
okay. Let's quickly come back home.
Yeah.
Despite the finesse to what most of you are doing as engineers, having garnered so much in the profession and all that other areas of expertise, it's still heart-rending that people will still say, okay, they cannot trust what is available to us locally. Perhaps can't trust the local engineers to still handle some particular project. It has to be from outside or outside the shores of this nation. I know it's not in all cases, but most times you get to hear, no, if you want to get a job done, don't trust the local engineers because you can't give you what you really want. It has to be XYZ from XYZ country.
Well, You see, this is also one of the gains of what we are trying to achieve by this political position. You understand? If the global engineering community will have trust in somebody like me, a Nigerian, you understand, to lead them. So why can't a Nigerian in Nigeria trust a fellow Nigerian engineer for his project? You understand? Globally, engineers are very sensitive as to what they do, as to who leads them, as to, you know, your character, your competence as an engineer. You understand? So before they trust you, they must see in you, you know, a set of qualities that they will, you know, they will be proud to be associated with you. You understand? And to be associated with their leadership. So it will send a signal, not only to Nigerians, but to all, you know, Africa, that yes, an African today, from sub-Saharan, somebody from sub-Saharan Africa is being trusted at the leadership, the topmost leadership of the apex professional engineering body in the world.
So we should trust.
So we should also trust our Nigerian engineers. You understand? Because if you don't trust the Nigerian engineer, how does he get the skill and the competence to do other projects?
Okay, at least one area that Nigeria is now renowned for is the production of quality electrical equipment. I'm told that many developers will prefer some of the Nigerian products. Isn't this some good sign?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Now, developing this profession and the different areas of engineering is something that is being encouraged, even from secondary schools to some other levels of education, for the sciences especially. How are we doing in this direction? Assess what we have so far and what you think we could do better to actually encourage the engineering, especially among the youth, female especially.
Yes, you see, the first thing is for the Nigerian citizens, especially the government, you understand, to have the culture of looking inwards for the solutions to our problems. Because there is no way you can get a sustainable solution to your problems from outside. You understand? And we are churning out engineers and other professionals from, you know, many institutions within the country. We have, how many universities do we have in the country? So many. And a lot of us also are sending their children to the UK, to the US, to Malaysia, to Turkey, to India, even to Ghana, and even, you know, smaller countries, Uganda, you know.
So the government should step in.
But then after all these engineers acquire such qualifications, be it diploma, I mean HND, degree, master's, PhD, when they come back here, if you don't create the opportunities for them, how can they be proficient in what they have learned?
Okay.
So there
one
has to be
opportunity created for you is that of the Project Management Office for the Presidential Power Initiative.
Yeah, this is a recent appointment, just last month, and
what is expected of this?
Yeah, what is expected is that we are going to oversee, you know, the implementation of the Presidential Power Initiative, those projects under the Siemens contract, you understand, between the federal government and Nigeria. So we have just started, you know, looking into what has been done so far. A lot has been done, but certainly it's not yet visible to the Nigerian populace, and that is what we are looking at to see what areas of the work at the distribution and transmission and are we going to put attention so that there is visible, you know, improvement in power supply, you know, in the country.
We're holding on to that word so that there will be visible power supply for us based on this particular initiative.
That is what we want to.
Executive Vice President of the World Federation of Engineering Organization, WFEU, Engineer Mustafa Balarabe. Shehu, thank you for coming on the spot.
Thank you very much.
We wish you and your team all the very best.
Thank you.
As you seek the greater office across the globe.
Thank you very much.
And that's on the spot. We appreciate your time. Next time it will be with another interesting guest and professional. My name is Blessing Abu. Goodbye.